Welcome in. This is the Captain's Quarter Show. I am your host, L. Milliner, the Captain. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Now, we got so much happening here in Montgomery, Alabama. Everybody knows about the crime. It's no secret. It's not like you're in any corner of the state and don't know about the issues that Montgomery, Alabama is facing. All right, when it comes to our leadership, the crime, and just people not wanting to live here. People are leaving in droves. We're a city that has been losing population for the last decade or so. All right. They want to keep saying and touting that Montgomery is growing. It is not growing. It's not happening. We are losing population. All right. Now in the city, we're having a shift of people. So people are moving from certain parts of the city, like the south side, the north side, the west side, and they're tending to move into East Montgomery. But we're not gaining population, we're losing population. Right. So people they're moving to Pike Road, Wetumpka, Prattville, and other places because of they don't feel safe. So it's just, it's just one of those things. But finally, we're starting to see people be honest about the issues here in Montgomery, and they're calling out the city's leadership because let's not get it confused. Let's not misconstrue what's really happening. People need to understand first and foremost, in order to make sure our youth and make sure those young adults are not out here committing crimes. In order to keep this from happening, number one, first and foremost, we need mothers and fathers raising their kids. We need that has to be at the top. Okay. You as the mother and dad, y'all have to raise your kids with integrity, with morals and ethics and values. They need to be able to value themselves or themselves before they go out into the world and act the fool. They need to respect authority. These are things that need to be taught. They need to be trained to do these things. Now, outside of the home, once they go out into the world, well, now comes where the government steps in. The role of the government is to protect, to serve us. The the first few things I would say that all I really am 100% depending on the city to do for me, city government is support me with having police, support with having fire, support with other EMS, uh, police dispatch, sanitation services. Like these are just the basic things. This is just city government 101. Take my trash, make sure my water's running, what I'm saying, make sure I'm safe when it comes to crime, make sure there's fire rescue in case of some kind of emergency. This is just the basics. Now, people got to understand that they like to push it to and say the state has they should take a lot of the blame for the crime that's happening in Montgomery, but they overlook the city. There's no government entity that's more important than the city level. The city level is the base of what goes on in Montgomery and when it comes to police and fire and everything else. The state doesn't run that. The city runs that. Now, in Montgomery, we happen to have Mayor Reed, who has claimed over and over and over again he's the CEO of the city. He runs Montgomery and he runs MPD. So, based on his own self acknowledgement of his role in Montgomery, everything that happens, good or bad, when it comes to crime and so on and so forth, is a direct reflection of him. So when it comes to building up Montgomery. You know, they got Meta coming, they got Amazon coming, and they've had other industries, right? Mana Bottling Company. He's had so when these companies come and they bring jobs and they bring in investment, he has no problem saying that he was responsible, right? That he takes he takes the credit when the good things are happening. But when it comes to the crime, and we all see it happening, right? The crime is happening every day in different parts of the city. It doesn't matter where you are in the city, east, west, north, or south. When it comes to that, all of a sudden, he passes the buck to it's the state issue, the state laws, it's the permitless carry. Like people got to notice the word salad, the way that people do use semantics to describe what's happening. They love to, pull the wool over your eyes and say, look here when it's something good that I'm doing, but when it's something bad, don't look over there. Look over here. It's their fault. It's not my fault. Like, don't look over here. That's the game that's being played. And but finally, there's some people that are keeping it 100. It's so good to see more people getting involved and calling out what's happening and just being real and being 100 about it. I appreciate it. I really do, because sometimes I feel like you're the only person out here saying anything. But we got some more people. A lot of citizens are stepping up. Number one, and then we got some representatives, and we got Sheriff Cunningham speaking up as well. Now I'm going to find where the sheriff had some words to say first. Then I'm going to get to Representative Reed Ingram, because man, he went all the way in. So let's see here. Okay, this video may show everything. Cool. If it does, cool. Let me add that to the screen. This is from WSFA. So let's check out what Sheriff Cunningham. So Sheriff Cunningham is Montgomery County Sheriff. Let's see what he had to say about the crime.
Montgomery, right now we're aware of at least 4 shootings, injuring at least 6 people. Welcome to WSFA 12 News at 10. I'm Brady Talbert. We begin with the latest on that shooting at
Did y'all hear what he just said? Let's go back. He said how many shootings?
Holiday weekend in Montgomery. Right now we're aware of at least 4 shootings, injuring at least 6 people. Welcome to WSFA 12 News at 10. I'm Brady Talbert. We begin with the latest on that shooting at Eastdale Mall. It has many people startled right now. Thankfully, no one was injured, but there was property damage.
So this was the maybe 3rd shooting on the premises of Eastdale Mall this year. I know of at least one more back in April, and the young man, I think he was like 20 years old, got shot in the head. He was just an innocent bystander from all accounts. Shot in the head and killed. That he was right outside the mall, in front of or very close to Chuck E. Cheese's, which is within Eastdale Mall. And I want to say there was another shooting. Of course, we know about Amy Dix right there, like in the entrance or exit to the mall. She was shot and paralyzed at the light. And then this shooting right here happened inside the mall near the cinema. And I mean, that's just what off top of my head I know about. I think there are other shootings that have happened too, but anyway. And there have definitely been other shootings in other years, but this year there's been like 3 right at that same location. So let's keep listening.
Tonight, reporter Simon Schusler has new reaction from the Montgomery County Sheriff, who is also sharing advice for people who may be afraid to shop right now.
Everything we get can help us be able to prosecute these people.
Montgomery County Sheriff Derek Cunningham urging people to reach out to law enforcement if they know anything about Saturday afternoon shooting at Eastdale Mall.
And my goal is not just prosecuting them. I want to remove them from the street forever. Because right now, people want to feel safe. People want to see people going to jail that are committing these acts of violence.
Anytime there's a shooting in a public place, people question how they'd react. If you're caught in the crossfire, Cunningham says to find cover and dial 911 as soon as possible. Even small details can help.
You may see a group of people running. You could be able to give us a description of what we're looking for or what you saw, because it's still fresh on your mind.
After recent shootings, people have commented online that they're afraid to shop. The sheriff emphasizing that citizens should not be scared to visit any stores.
No, I don't think people should be afraid to shop anywhere. Eastdale Mall is bending over backwards to assist with investigating this crime. You can't blame Eastdale Mall for the actions of a handful of people.
Cunningham also wants people to let friends and family know about any potential conflict before it turns violent. So if it does, that person can provide information to police.
A lot of times you don't want to tell somebody that you're having a problem with somebody until after the situation occurs. But what if that person shoots you? What if that person injures you to a point that you can't tell nobody?
A push for community involvement for a safer Montgomery. Simon Schuessler, WSFA 12 News.
So what I heard Sheriff saying is, he said, don't be afraid to go shopping in Montgomery. He said, don't be afraid to go shopping. Basically, Eastdale Mall is bending over backwards to make sure that they provide a safe environment, a welcoming environment. That sounds really good, man. But I'm gonna be real. I definitely think twice about 2 or 3 times. I think 2 or 3 times about going certain places. Um, you know, it's one thing when there's an anomaly that occurs, when there's a shooting that happens in a place that normally it doesn't happen, and it's just a one-off. It's a situation where something happened, right? Some people got angry and somebody got shot and killed or whatever, and that was the only incident of that magnitude to happen over a decade, 20 years, 30 years. That's different, right? Then we're seeing 2, 3, 4 shootings at the same location in the same year with at least one death and one person that's been paralyzed from the chest down. And then you got a shooting that happened inside of that same location. We're not counting last year before that, when there were other shootings at or near this mall. So the pattern of where the shootings are taking place and where the violence is happening, that's a problem, right? Because they're not even mentioning the fights that happen inside the mall, right? There have been multiple fights inside the mall. They're not even talking about that. We're just focusing on the guns, right? The gun violence, because that's like the only violence that happens is with guns. Not true. So they're only looking at this from one angle. There's violence that's been happening at this mall over years consistently, and this year seemed to be a hotspot. So I would say, Sheriff Cunningham, I disagree wholeheartedly when you say don't worry about going out to shop. Don't be afraid. Go shop and this and that. Man, you go shop. All right, you go and enjoy that. I will think twice about going there. And as a matter of fact, I haven't even been to that mall in quite some time. I mean, I was going there. I guess the last time I went was a few months ago. I think it was like in maybe like March, something like that. Yeah, can't remember, but to be real, I'd rather drive extra miles to go to East Chase. And not saying nothing has happened at East Chase, because yes, there have been a couple of shootings over there, but not in such a short amount of time. So anywhere that I know that there's been violence happening a lot, you should think twice about going there, okay? Because there's something happening in that area that's causing more violence to happen. I don't know what that is, but there's something going on. So I mean, I know people in, these elected officials and everything, they want everybody to just kind of go about your life and just not be concerned about certain things happening to you because true, true. Your chances are very slim that you're going to be a part of a violent crime. It's just the odds game, right? Just a numbers game. But again, to me, you're upping your chances when you go places where there's been a string of violence happening. That's just my views on that, right? But I get what he's saying too.